Hello, welcome to Wargamer. I'm your host Rob. In today's video, we're going to be looking at all the 3D prints from Patreons, which I subscribe to this month, and talking about them. I love this. It's my favourite time of the month because every month it's like I get a brand new, huge miniature release from like a proper official company, you know, but they're 3D designers who I have a direct financial relationship with because I support them on Patreon. They don't pay me to advertise, I pay them for the files. So that's the relationship that we're in. And I'm going to go look at them. First up, we're going to look at Bestiarum Miniatures. Bestiarum Miniatures are sculptors who do very Dark Souls-inspired miniatures. I think that's always been a fair thing to say. And this month's release for November is the Dark Denizens. It's always very messed up. So if you are watching this on YouTube, there is going to be some light-hearted stuff later. We've got some orc terrain to look at. We've got some Artisan Guild elves. We've got some sci-fi stuff. We've got some absolutely whimsical bell-making characters, which is really fun. We love that. But we're going to start out with the dark and the forbidden. And in fact, actually, we'll increase the size of these pictures as well. So let's go and have a look. So here we've got, this is one of their earlier releases, Nogroth, where, have they done a double release? This is huge. So the Nogroth release is a update to a release that they did earlier in the year, where they did this Eldritch horror, sea-themed, Cthulhu-esque, and they've added some miniatures on. That's very exciting. I've got a friend who'll be very, very excited about that. Okay, that's good. And here is a bunch of just 3 characters that they've got, for like in D&D style setting. Bestiarum do 2 releases a month. That's a new thing, though. They didn't used to do 2 releases a month. Now, one of the things I like about Bestiarum, and I'm going to be talking about this in an upcoming 3D print video, is this. Not only with this month's release do I also get those 2 sets of miniatures, I also get the 5th edition data slates for all those miniatures as well, if I want to play some old classic D&D, a 5th edition campaign system for the entire area, and one for both, and then a scenario here, right, which is very cool. So that's just, in my personal opinion, a very fun addition that you get. Okay. And then they also have a $1 tier, where you subscribe for $1 a month, and you get 1 STL. I think that's actually quite fun. But anyway, and here's a bunch of characters that they've got. And again, this is for the D&D adventure, and I think this looks great. There's some very fun stuff here. Again, it's all Dark Souls-y. Let's start out big. This is going to be huge. This must be on, 100 mil base? Absolutely huge. Loads of eyeballs, and it's got a giant teeth. This would be very fun to potentially use in, if you're playing Age of Sigmar, you could use it in a dark Idoneth army, which I'm a fan of that. And then they've got it ripping up. It looks like it's ripping up some, Egyptian rune stuff. No, because there's some Cthulhu images on there as well, which is fun. I do like the idea that maybe they would be attacking a different culture's kind of edifices, but no, that's not the case. And here you've got a bunch of different... has it been pinned? Yeah, look! The octopus has been nailed. As if we didn't think it'd get dark enough. It looks like the octopus has been nailed to the edifices. That is amazing. That's really fun. So it's trapped underneath, maybe pinned in. You could use it as a moor pit for ogres. That'd be really good, actually. Especially for a sea-themed ogre force. That'd be fun. Okay, got a bunch of extra images. And then we have what looks to be a character, I think. Again, just a load of tentacles. There is a face, so I'm going to give this a character classification, right? I really like that you can get a model for $1. I like that you can get a model for $1. I do. I think that's a nice kind of thing that they do. This is really good. Fun. It's a crab with a tentacled behemoth coming out of it. It is nightmare fuel, I agree. This is always... Bestiarum's always the rough part of the show every month, where we got to be like, oh boy, it's time for some toughies. Okay? Here you can see what appears to be a giant betentacled wizard with a huge, haircut pouring forth. And the staff is it looks like a crab's claw. That is awesome. Love that. There we've got ourselves a cheeky fellow. Just, again, a really weird clawed character. I like the armor. You could definitely do some, weathering in here, make it look like it's under the sea. Betentacled is word of the day, thank you. Yeah, it could make a great Nurgle Demon Prince. These could be some good Nurgle Warriors if you were playing either 40k or Age of Sigmar, or the Old World, I think. That would be really good. Then we've got what looks to be another character with a giant shell, massive claw, big sword. Looks awesome. Love that. I think that's really fun. Again, looks like there's loads of detail underneath here. A lot of people obviously criticize how much detail there is, talking about negative space. We don't do that here. I quite like there being lots of detail. It's really good for slap chopping. It's really good for people who don't have a lot of painting expertise, because you could just, dry brush a bunch of stuff, and that makes it a lot easier. Ooh, another Eldritch horror, it seems. Just another betentacled freak. And then we actually have just extra tentacles coming out of the sea. This is really fun. This is something I see people do anyway. This is a very fun additional thing I see people do. They print these out and they have like tentacles coming out of bases. So providing that, so you can print these out and either, obviously build just the tentacle bases. I love the idea that you could maybe build a unit out of just tentacles coming out of the ocean. Your whole army would have to be like sea themed. But that would be very cool. Like, just imagine you just did like 70 bases and it just all tentacles coming out. And you'd be like, it's a Eldritch horror. Don't go near them. Really good for just some good old paint slopping. Exactly. You could paint slop these bad boys really good. And then a mass, a bunch of like, I think fish eggs. That's pretty rough. Sea themed, you mean? Yeah, just loads of sea eggs. And then we're moving into the Dark Denizens. So that's the Cthulhu range. It's quite good. I think it had a really strong theme. I think the theme feels repeated, which is fine, because you're using them for different sculpts and maybe different units, or using them in D&D in different ways. But yeah, it's quite different. Now we can see the Dark Denizens, and it looks like we have like a Dark Forge Master. I don't know about you, if you've played Elden Ring, this looks like literally the character from Elden Ring, where you have the character who does the Forge Master stuff. This is quite interesting, I think. Yeah, and there's the whole Forge Master kind of like vibe. There is definitely a part in Elden Ring where you go and visit a character that's exactly like this, which is fun. And then look at all the additional detail. You've got a couple of like golem-style heavily armored creatures helping the Forge Master. This is very cool, especially in a D&D campaign. Then you can just have him on his own base, which is fun. I like that a lot. And then here's his little helpers. These are great little guys. I love these guys. I think they're very sweet. Imagine painting all that too much work. You can paint these very fast. You just do like an overbrush of silver over a black undercoat, do some dry brushing, throw some streaking grime on. You've slopped a mini. You're in a good spot there. That paint up super quick and would match the theme, which is very dark, obviously. Very dark. And look, the little squire is great. I like the little squire. I want more little squires. I really do. Like in games. Holy bananas, Batman. What is this? This is an amazing sculpt. I haven't seen any of these sculpts before. These are first reacts. This is a heavily kind of, grotesquely Nurglified. Looks like a potion dealer. He would make an incredible Festus. I don't think he's small enough. A Great Unclean One is also a really cool shout if you're going to talk about just Warhammer stuff. Epidemius is really good. This is just so good. Really, really good. This reminds me of the merchant from the Resident Evil village. Oh, yes, that's a great shout, Pete. That's a great shout. This is awesome as well. Wow. So we have like a conch shell of a snail or a crab, and then we have a bunch of tentacles and arms coming out. And then it's also got some cute little wheels to help it get around, while also being a pack unit with being like laden with treasures and barrels and spare wheels and all sorts of stuff. This is absolutely stunning as a piece of world building. No, that's the back of the miniature. that is an absolute game changer. So the front of the miniature is the back of the caravan or the chariot. It's got 4 wheels, so technically not a chariot, it's a cart. But then the front or the middle is the shell being pulled by all of the drivers, the arms and the claws as well. Bits of the front part in the back, yeah, haughty slimmers. It's very interesting. So, just very good, very good. That is very impressive. I wasn't expecting that. That is actually really inspired, in my personal opinion. He's a hermit crab. Yeah, I get it. I get that he's a hermit crab with dark denizens pulling him forward, right? This is good. That's from Resident Evil 8. He's the guy that sells you stuff. Interesting, right? And then we have what again looks to be like some level of dark merchant. Yeah, it does look like, the it's called the Dark Denizens. So we have a bunch of like dark merchants. This looks like we get some arcane items delivered to us from this dark merchant here, covered in bandages. It'd be super fun to paint. Loads going on, loads of texture. And then is that the back of the miniature? No, it's not. There is another version, or there's another Dark Denizen, which looks a little bit like the characters from Dark Crystal. Little bit, but not too much. Like, different enough. Almost like got dark Ghibli vibes in some ways, in my opinion. Like, loads of light. The eyeballs are really good. This is some nightmare fuel. Then you get all the pieces that come along. You've got some weapons in some, like, stone. You got some weapons here. Like, this is really cool. Okay. Very fun. Then we got, like, a furnace, forge for where they would build all of their minis. And it just talks about what they've got coming up. Like loyalty rewards, 9 months, you get the Grand Magus and War Phoenix. There's a season 2, where normally if you say subscribe to a designer, then, which is like a better way of doing it because they always cost more after that month. And then there's some loyalty rewards as well, which is fun. So unique sculpts that only you have access to, which is, I think, very good, which is very cool. Okay, and then here's some versions printed out, which is fun to see, just to showcase that you can print them out. They print out well. You could easily print these. Like, I have some very low-end printers, like an Anycubic 6K. Absolutely, these will print these incredibly well. Very resilient. The idea of fragile minis is gone by the wayside now. The resins that you can get now make these minis as good as plastic, if not better in some cases. And that's based on someone who's just recently printed 1,000 miniatures for sale, and I've had nothing but great feedback about that. So, thankfully had nothing but good feedback. And if you do have any bad feedback, please do let me know. So that's Bestiarum's release this month, and I would say that it's really cool. I would say it's very cool. I think I much prefer the Dark Denizens, but I've never been a Cthulhu fan. I've never been. Do they need a fair bit of cleaning after printing? In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. Really depends on the supports and also the design. Rob is rich. 1,000 miniatures. No, Rob is not rich, unfortunately. Okay, right, so happy with the Nagoroth. I think this is good. Well done to Bestiarum Miniatures. I'm going to jump straight to something no one cares about but just me. I'm going to jump out to my guys over at Sacrus Mundus. In my personal opinion, the best sci-fi sculptors out there. Consistently awesome kits if you want to do that. And this is an update. This is their 3rd release. I really do wish they would produce big pictures, but this is their 3rd release for Warpzel. Okay, now Warpzel is really just orcs. They don't really want to say it, but it's 40k orcs. And the other releases are 11 out of 10. I think they're really good. And now it looks like what they've done is they've created like a Kill Team-esque or Necromunda-esque set of additional sculpts. So if you want to do, boarding action for 40k, if you want to do yourself a Necromunda or some like sci-fi skirmish game with an orc theme, then it's all here, right? It's just so good. So good. So yeah, there you can see it's basically everything you maybe would get from like those 40k releases. I think it's called Boarding Action. I don't know if Boarding Action made it into 10th edition 40k. But definitely kill team. I love the idea of maybe doing like a Necromunda board. The idea of a bunch of Necromunda gangers see a space orbital and they go up there because they're like, all right, okay, we're going to go up there and get ourselves some loot. And then they ended up in this weird orc paradise, which is fun. I love the idea of an orc orbital as well. I think that's cool. You got some orc machinery and engines, which is really fun, but also kind of like incongruous with how they work. And then you've got all the tiles as well. So I think, is that loads of different tiles? Loads of different tiles. So if you wanted to produce yourself like a tiled board as well, you know, if you wanted to do an orc version of Space Hulk or something like that, so many options. Yeah, there's board and action rules, but I don't really feel like they're going to take it further. And the ambassador in chat, they have rules for 10th, but it's pretty dead format, sadly. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. That's a shame. They supported it for a month. And here you can see, like, it just looks like, you know, a command center of a ship or like a big centralized piece, which is also, in my opinion, very cool. Some orky gun platforms, which are fun, all in different pieces. And then a big orc engine. It looks a little bit too clean, to be honest. If I'm 100% honest, I would have liked to have seen some more adornments on there. And then a teleporter. Reminds me of like the Wasbomb Blaster Jet, or you know, one of the orc mechs, and then do a big teleport from there is cool. Again, in all different pieces. You get some bases based on the theme, and that's the whole piece. Terrain is one of those things that no one is excited about until they see an awesome board. And so I stan the terrain designers really hard because it's not as flashy as the miniatures. It's not as flashy, never is. And it also requires quite a lot of vision to see those and then see what something might make. But the times that I have ended up printing boards of terrain and people have turned up to where I work, which is the TSN arena, and then they've looked at the boards, they're like, these are awesome. And I'm like, yeah, they're there. They're just never flashy. But I think it's so worth talking about. I love talking about this. And shout out to Sacrus Mundus, been my favorite designer for a very long time when it comes to terrain. I think they do really solid work. So just very fun. Okay. The basic board action stuff still works pretty well, but the stratagems are broken, sadly. Oh, sad. Jamoy in the chat, I love terrain, but the only thing I couldn't get when I get into the hobby, really appreciate terrain. Me too. Also, I guess I could tell people, like, I'm a merchant for Sacrus Mundus. And again, I pay for the privilege. Let's just be clear. So if there's anything you ever want printed, you can always get in touch with me. We do produce and sell boards of terrain as well. I do that for 40k especially. I produce like boards of terrain. Like very much like like an ITC or even GW style format, but just print them out. And I think that's the best terrain you can get. It's not like tournament cardboard terrain. It's like highly detailed quality terrain. So anyway, that's something we do, but that's not really the point of the show or what I do. And almost no one's ever taken me up on that offer, which I feel is a mistake for those people, but whatever, that's fine. Dave Fazer, I have one of Rob's terrain boards, works really well and looks cool. Oh, thanks, Dave. Appreciate you. Okay, waiting for Rob's Gary Chalk terrain judgy phase. Unfortunately, I'm never going to be that guy, which is great for me. All right, let's go look at another great designer. Let's go talk about our man. There he is. This is Clay Beast Creation. I do think they have a November release, actually. I don't want to miss it, so let's go get Clay Beast Creation. We don't want to make sure we miss their actual full release. Big fan of Clay Beast. Clay Beast do a bunch of kind of twists on, Age of Sigmar armies, Age of Sigmar miniatures, and they always add their own twist to it, which I think is really fun. This seems to be the only miniature for the preview, so I'm just going to throw it up there. But it's very cool. It's very cool. One of the things that he's done Lizardmen / Seraphon, but has put his own twist on it, which I think is very cool, which is they've really added that Necron Old One mechanical engineering onto it and have made it look, I think, super cool. The mixture of Lizardmen and Necrons is very prominent in this design, but I think it works very, very well. It's just, it's the big dino above. Oh, okay, and we have another release as well. Oh, fantastic, I've only just seen this. Again, this looks like it's a Carnosaur rider, but this time it's done with a skink on top, or a skink proxy, obviously. But oh, wow. The dino looks great. Look at that. And again, one of the things I love about Clay Beast, and I've messaged Clay Beast about this a lot, I love the texture that they add onto miniatures. The texture is really good. It comes out in the design really well, in the print, sorry. It comes out in the print really well. And so when you're like, you know, if you're dry brushing this skin, that's a huge amount of texture to free paint. I think there's a significant difference working towards miniatures that you're going to paint very, very well. I mean, you can paint this very well, sorry, but you can paint this well and fast, and that's really nice. Yeah, I think this might be an Oracle on Troglodon, and that might be a Carnosaur. It is an Oracle on Troglodon. That looks fantastic. Huge Claybeast fan. All right, great. 3 amazing sculpts from Claybeast. Shout out to Claybeast. All right, we love that. That's very fun. Right, okay, so now we're going to go and look at... Well, let's look at Highland Miniatures. The Orkish tribe. So Highland Miniatures produce a load of miniatures which have a very specific design which you could use for Warhammer Fantasy Battles or the Old World when it comes out, if you wanted to. Their designs, as you can see, are geared towards specifically being able to rank up on square bases. So if you're playing a ranked Fantasy Battles army or, you know, event, then these are very cool. They also have very limited texture. So, like, they're a nice counterpoint, I guess, actually, for looking at Claybeast. Because if you wanted to, these could be a lot simpler to paint. Although, oddly, I actually think in many ways the Claybeast stuff sometimes is easier because you can dry brush it more. But that's kind of where I'm at. Anyway, yeah, and they also are very stylized as well. They're very stylized. They have a very specific design aesthetic geared towards how they want like Warhammer Fantasy Battle to look. Like you can at this stage, because there's an amazing Goblin release that they've done, amazing. There's a great Bretonnian release, and there's a great Dwarf release. So you could really do a Warhammer Fantasy Battle / Old World, game between you and your friends, where you have a very like matching style between all the armies, which I think is actually really fun. So it's cool. So here's some boar riders on some orcs on some boars with some very clean armor plates. If you wanted to paint them up, I quite like that. That's fun. I like the little Orkish shields as well, and the very like prominent, very old school boar faces. Very old school. Here we can see an orc leader. And, like, this is what I mean. Like, I wouldn't say it's cartoonish. I think that would be unfair and dismissive. And so I'm not trying to say that. But it also doesn't have World of Warcraft vibe. I would say this is fairly unique. Like, the proportions are correct. The dimensions are right. It looks exactly like an orc without ever trying to be a different type of orc. I don't know if I'm making sense of that. I'm trying to put my finger on how I feel about this. Maybe the chat or even the YouTube comments have got some like thoughts. But I personally think it looks very good. Well, I'm a fan anyway. I think it looks cool. Similar there. So that's the same one. It's back to basics. But done really well. Like, done elegantly. How about elegant basics? That seems like it's fair. Because there's loads of like minor detail, like the shield on the gut plate has got wrinkles in the eyes, which are very neat and clean. The face is actually incredibly well done, with like little lines underneath the bags in the eyes. There's a good furrow on the head. They haven't missed a part. Like classical design. Yeah, I think it's classic. And then we got a bunch of orcs with hoods, as Pete was saying in the chat. They look very cute, very cool. We got loads of big spears as well, which I think is good. Same thing again, and it just shows them all ranked up as well. So it shows you it's possible. And then we've got ourselves an archer unit, same thing. These are very cool. These are very old school. Like this, it feels like almost a nod to the, I don't want to say 80s, let's say early 90s. But just done, that's what it feels like. It feels like a very high-end kids' cartoon, like almost like maybe like a Disney movie, like with almost like a Grim Tale Fairy view to it. It looks very fun. I like it. Yeah, being old school doesn't mean it's cool. Yeah, I agreed. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying I like it. I do like it. It reminds me of the Robin Hood movie. Yeah, sometimes the ups outnumber the downs, but not in Nottingham. Then we got some Highland Miniatures, or heavily armored orcs. All right, these are great actually. These are really great. These are really great. Yeah, that's what they make me think of Robin Hood. Robin Hood orcs. That's what we've got. I think that's a good description. I love those archers. Me too. Heavily armored dudes. And that's it from Highland Miniatures. Could they be hobgrots? Nah, they're too big for hobgrots. They look great, though. Let me know what you think about these. I think these are really great. Let's move on to Archvillain. And arguably just the best of the best. And we talked about this a lot. Like, unimaginatively quality stuff a lot of the time. And normally just crazy inspiring. We've got a sci-fi preview to do. And also a fantasy preview to do. And... oh boy. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do both. So this one is the Bright Soul Order. And I really like working out what the theme is as we go through the sculpts. But I think you can see from here, we're looking at a celestial fantasy, maybe like a god range, or maybe, like a pantheon of god stuff. And let me know what you think about that straight away. So we have it looks like a god or a demigod. It almost looks like a summoned spell, something you would like bring to the battlefield, as opposed to, or it's its own godlike creature. And there you can see. Now there is just tons of detail, absolutely everything. The bit that I'm going to open this up in a new tab so everyone can see exactly what I'm talking about. There we go. Look at the detail when you get to even these tiny spikes. Let's look at the version from there. You can't see that, right? You can barely see what I'm looking at, like on the kind of crest of the piece. But when you get straight in, look, they've even got runic detail on each of the individual lodestones around this piece. And some people would say that this is over-designed. I hear this criticism a lot, that stuff is over-designed. And I think that there is a great conversation about over-designed. I think there is. But I don't think this is what this is. Their style is always this. They give you every detail at every point, and they make it so that this is for you. They're like, here you go, have everything. And I love that. I think this is good. Because if I want a miniature with less detail, they are available, right? This is also, again, more achievable to paint. Yeah, artists that can paint well with this level of detail or not are fine. So it's good. How does that detail print out? That detail will print out on a modern printer, let's say a 6K modern printer. Shout out to Rob in the chat, who always reminds me of this. Just because something's 12K doesn't mean that its detail is any better, because it's all about how low the microns can be. This will print out really nicely. If you end up with what we're saying, 40 microns level detail, then this will print out perfect. Yeah. I have a 4K printer and they print wonderfully. There you go. It says is 2606 in the chat. I previously, until very recently, had a 4K printer, and this also, I would have had no fear that all of this detail would have come out absolutely fine. Okay? And those are very cheap. They're the bottom end of the market at the moment. So there you go. Right, let's move on. Let's look at some more pictures. Okay, so we've got this. Got a couple of shots of this mini, and then we're going to move on to see some other shots. There's a bust of the same piece as well, which is fun. Love a good bust, especially those painters love a bust. And then I would say, if someone was asking me, I would say this is Archvillain's take on a Stormcast Eternal. I think someone said that previously in the YouTube comments. They were like, "What is your take on a Stormcast Eternal?" And I think we're here. We've got the lightning that's being showcased. We've got some lightning energy all around this mini. We have these distended, almost human-esque vibe to it, while still being, removed physically from what a human is, but gives us that impression. Or a Necron Catan would have worked as well. That would have worked really nice. Wow. This is actually really cool. A classic Archvillain thing here is the head is tiny. Archvillain just does not like big heads. Just tiny heads only, which I think is interesting. I'm not sure why. There's so much detail on that miniature to paint. This is an interesting take on Stormcast. This is definitely the celestial Stormcast versus the much more humanized version of Stormcast we eventually see. Let's just go through. Okay, now we're really mixing it up. What is this? Again, I don't think they're going down, the Carnival, Macabre, Joker. You know, kind of like Twisted Carnival vibe. I don't think that's what we're seeing here. I think we're seeing large, exploded, celestial kind of beings is what we're seeing. All very divine looking, I think. So that makes me think of Stormlight Archive Storm from Parshendi. I agree with you, Dave. I think like we definitely are seeing their take on what like a celestial being would be in heavy armor, and it's really fun. It's really fun. I like, you know, the arcane kind of energy balls with all the that would. If you painted that up, that would have a lot of different, immediately big color if you're looking at it a range. If you're looking at it from the tabletop, you would have all of the magic would be painted and lit up in a very different color to probably the cloak, which would, and there would be a lot of space for both of those two things. That'd be very fun. Great Celestials for off-brand fantasy RPGs. That's a great shout as well. And now we've got a Dawn Forged Guardian. Not sure about this, actually. Not sure about this at all. It's got heavy armor, big blades, and a face. I'm not sure about this. That's too intimidating for me to paint, but they're awesome sculpts. The thing is just commit. Just do them. Like, just be like, I'm just going to do it. I don't care. I like it. Okay, now we've got another guy with big fists. I'm not sure about the Dawn Guardians. They would make maybe really cool golems if you painted these up, and instead of it like and had fire coming out of it. This could easily be like a fun mechanical style golem, which I think would be fun. You can the sculpts. Persia in the chat is saying you can always see the movement in these sculpts, which I do agree with. You are always to see it. The head looks silly. That's a fair point. I agree. And we've got another guardian here. Poor guy, how does he pick his nose? I think this is an armor plate. I think this is like a construct that's been brought to life. Okay, and now we've got an actual Dawnbringer. Ladies and gentlemen of the chat, NBs and others, I love that. I love every element of that. I love the shoulder pad that's in multi-layers. I think the shield is detailed, but it's got a very odd... like an odd celestial element to it as well. Got some cool runic beads. Love that. Yeah. And then it's got a big cloak. It looks like it's got a big hammer as well. Let me go check. So it's the same thing. Oh, I thought we'd get a different pose. Or not a different pose. There we go. There's another version. Like, don't like the shield's place. It's very in the way. That's really fair. Then we can see another sculpt, this pose this time with a much more, like, I don't know about you, and I was trying to pick up on this earlier. I feel like we almost got some Mesopotamia influence. Like, I felt that about the larger pieces earlier, and I feel like we've got that as well. Like, celestial Mesopotamia in some ways added in. I feel like that because I almost said Egyptian earlier as well. I feel like there's a bit of like, you know, there's some ancient Egyptian kind of like stuff in here as well. Ancient Egyptian mythology, Mesopotamian mythology as well, mixed in, or at least it looks like it to me. Like sun god stuff. The reason I'm doing this in such detail is I'm a huge fan of Archvillain. I think that they really, it has gladiator vibes. See, I don't know if I pick up on gladiator. Gladiator would be like much more, yeah, I'm not sure I pick up on that. Definitely Stormcast Eternals. Definitely. Stopping the fuck out of Bloodletters for Six Nations a minute. Thanks for keeping me sane. Lord Marshall Twig, really excited about, for people watching this on YouTube vid, there's a man called Lord Marshall Twig, he's a superstar, and he's playing Six Nations this weekend, which is an Age of Sigmar International Championship event. It's his first cap, and I'm really excited for him, and I hope he has a great time. These are for D&D. Now, yeah, Archvillain do D&D modules along with these miniatures as well, so you can print them out, and then you can do D&D with them as well. Again, another one of our Dawnbringers. Not much to add to that, like what I've said, other than what I've said previously, but I'm a big fan. I think these look really good. Now that we've done 4 of these models, they'll definitely be... Oh, we've got different... this is new for Archvillain. Second month in a row they've done it. Different shield options. So I think it was Symbol earlier who was talking about the fact he didn't like that the shield was in the way. So now that'll be a separate piece that you could add on to your mini as well. This does also mean that you could build a whole Stormcast unit out of these. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's so good. Different helmet options as well. That might be on my list to do. A Solar Wing Phoenix. Believer, thanks for resubscribing in the chat. Yikes. A big Solar Wing Phoenix. So just a Phoenix, basically, with some additional bits on it. That's fun. A Solar Wing Phoenix too. We've got a couple of different Phoenix sculpts. Don't hate a Phoenix sculpt. I won't lie. These could be OBR too. Yeah, OCR Bone Reapers. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Wow. What a sculpt. That's fun. That's fun. Landing in place. I love that. That's cool. Ooh. Pray to the sun. This is really cool. There's a large, like, again, heavily armored. I think I'm still getting that Mesopotamian vibe. That looks like he's Doctor Doom. He does look a bit like Doctor Doom. I agree. Oh, wow. Look at this. Carrying his heavy, like, runic piece on his back. Is there a back shot of that? That's really cool. Solstice Luminary. Again, a little... Looks like a priest. You could use these as characters, I guess, in a unit. Or, like, individually in an army if you wanted to. And then a very, very almost twisted, but again, similar kind of, like, mage-style character praying to the sun, which is fun. Load of different weapon options, apparently. Load of different weapon options, head options, hand options. So you've got the Solstice Luminary as a kit as well. That's cool. Whoa. The Aurorus, the Solar Storm. A solar dragon. Very interesting. I think showing off these large miniatures... Oh, just one picture. Give us another angle. I want to see the top-down angle. It looks like it's got a fin on its back. The wings are... The wing span spreads down the tail. So as opposed to being a singular piece, you know, kind of like around the body, it looks like it spans all the way down the tail, almost like a fish's scales. Whoa. Okay. That's fun. Could use that as a like Crondis for Stormcast Eternals. I like the whiskers. The body's cool, but I don't know about those wings. It would be more stable. It would be a more stable print and sculpt. I agree with you 100%. It's like a classic D&D Gold Dragon. It's pretty cool. There you go. It's fun. And then we've got some Pantheon, the Solar Envoy. So it's just a dude. It looks like in some heavy armor. Is he a snake or a dragon? I think he's got like the body of a twisted dragon. Okay, love that. Oh, wow. The Sunital the Evolution. What is this? It's half horse, half dragon. Like kind of Chinese vibes towards the top. Loads of big fur. Kirin. This is a Kirin. I don't know what a Kirin is, if anyone's got a link to it. I think that might be a D&D thing, which I don't know. Don't know about that one, Chief. I think, yeah, this is something like, if you're a D&D fan, this is what it is. An Asian unicorn equivalent. Oh, okay. That's fun. It's quite fun finding about... I like doing the 3D sculpt thing because you get different like mythologies that get explored, right? This is your internal monologue deciding whether or not to be a scaly or a furry. A Kirin is a mythical Asian beast that wants to talk to the manager. Okay, it's a good description. By the way, if you do know stuff about, especially D&D stuff, always give me the worst description so I can read it out. You know, I love that. Talking about the Gladiator vibe we talked about earlier, you do have a bit of the Gladiator vibe now. The Paladin of Light, a heavy, like a melee-focused combat character. It's got very space Spartan vibes. Night Jean, loads of love. Whoa, Antigone, the Corneer of the Sea. Interesting. She's fun. She's a fun sculpt. What have we got? We've got kind of like Bretonian vibes. She's very waif thin. Looks like she's carrying a big banner. This, again, will be part of stuff from the D&D module, I think. And then Yorax, the Holy Inquisitor. He looks great. He looks great. Loads of cool stuff on him. The fully encased helmet piece, the half shield. That's something I don't think I've seen much. Like, half a shield is one design, half a shield is the other. I actually think that's very cool. The shield is very cool. I've not seen that previously. The helmet is fun. Yeah, that's a great little sculpt. Okay. That is everything from that release from Archvillain. Very interesting kind of like take. Feels like it's geared towards D&D, but with all those modular options, you could definitely build some units for a war game if you wanted. Okay. I love that. Let's go look at their sci-fi preview now. So this is all of their sci-fi stuff, and it's called Testament 2. Oh, wait, no. The Hollowed Sisters Absolution. Oh, I think this is going to be like a Sisters of Battle thing. Maybe. Some Sisters of Battle. Maybe. Or their take. Now, the sci-fi stuff from Archvillain is particularly challenging, because while the stuff that we've seen from them previously in fantasy has related to stuff that you could play in Warhammer Fantasy Battle or Age of Sigmar or Dungeons and Dragons, the sci-fi stuff, and whenever you do talk about sci-fi miniatures, you can't help escape 40k as like a reference point. And then when you go beyond 40k, I just struggle completely. So I think it's always interesting to see where they go, because sometimes it doesn't really relate at all. Okay, so we just got a big vehicle with some big missile launchers on the top. It does look like. And then we've got the vehicle without any options on the top at all. A few more options. Looks like this is a modular kit. So a couple more pictures there. There you go. So yes, you've got some different fronts and some different roof options. Okay. Okay, so we've got a tank. If we want to run a tank, we've got a couple of tank options. And it does, again, look like it's a Sisters of Battle thing. We'll see with the next picture, I think. It's Sisters of Battle. It is definitely Sisters of Battle. So that's their take on the big war suits that the Nundams, like, yeah, Exorcist, Emulator, and Rhino. Yeah, this is a Paragon war suit. So this is definitely intended as 40k proxies. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that's excellent. Like, absolutely excellent. Don't know, like, if you are a 40k fan, I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this. Yeah, Fallen Sisters is I think what we're basically seeing here. Rob snubbing BattleTech as usual. It's better than the Games Workshop warsuits. Interesting. Okay. Like, it looks like a Penitent engine crossed with a warsuit. I think that's the point, right? It definitely is a Penitent engine. Got a couple of different weapon options, I assume we're going to see with this. Oh, there's another version as well. Again, like, heavy weapon option, big gun option, different pose as well, different stride, which I think is fun. I like the version you can have where the 3D print has got, like, the explosions coming out of the barrel. And then, again, a heavy famous sword option. I think it's definitely a Penitent engine strapped in. Big shield variant as well. Loads of guns. Okay. Don't like them, but I think it comes with the concept itself. Okay, so we got 4 body options with 2 different head options. And they're ball joints as well, so you definitely could do something else. And then 4 hand weapon options, and then 5 weapon options there as well. Looks more like a Paragon suit. Okay, I think it looks like a Paragon suit. It will actually say, let me see, 22. What are these called? These are called the Absolutioners. The Absolutioner is on a 50mm base. I don't know what size a Paragon suit is, but that's what size they're scaled at. They're scaled at a 50mm base. So if anyone knows what size it is for a Paragon suit. And then we've got, a Contrite. Okay, these look great. These look really good. Am I going to do a Sister Battle Army? It's a 50mm base. So this is geared towards and directly trying to attribute towards a Sister Battle Army. I'm pretty certain. Okay, chat, one sec. So we got the Contrite here, as you can see. And then this is quite clearly based on, again, some Sisters of Battle characters. And these are really fun. Like, really fun. We got, like, a big muscle mommy for people in the chat who love that. With a big chain blade, which looks very cool. Yeah, these are just GW sculpts, but done differently, right? And I don't hate them. I've said before, I'm a huge Archvillain fan. I think the sculpts are great. I can fix it. And here is, again, another muscle mommy with huge abs, ready to just absolutely chop someone to pieces. Very cool. Very cool. And there's 4 sculpts in that. I don't think we're going to get any like modular designs on this. I think that would be very tough to do. Yeah, you could do an amazing Necromunda gang. Whoa, is there 5 sculpts? This never happens. Normally, Archvillain just does 4 miniatures for like a theme, like, or an idea, and that's it. So getting a 5th one is a big deal. A big deal. I don't know if there's going to be... Oh, wow. It is modular. 5 different head options, 5 arm options, and I think 5 body options as well. Doesn't say. All cone heads, obviously. Obviously, the whole army cone heads. But modular is also very good. Yeah, you could do... Oh, you could do a lady's corpse grinding cult for Necromunda. That's a great shout. Love that. And now we get ourselves some of the Crown Thorn. So these are just straight up... these are straight up Sisters of Battle, right? But our version of Sisters of Battle. A different version of Sisters of Battle. What do we think? Like, now the knee pads make more sense. Yes, the knee pads make more sense now, I agree. Are they Chaos Sisters of Battle? Is that what they're looking at? Is that what we're looking at? I'm very tempted to do these. Yes, Big Phil Marshall. What's happening, gorgeous? What up? Good luck with the weekend. I hope it goes really well. Oh, or are you playing at the weekend? I think you are. Really digging the helmets. Yeah, the helmets are very good. I love a classic bit of design mechanic at the minute is someone right now is like sticking something over someone's eyes. Like, you got to have a couple of blind characters now, right? Large Sisters of Battle. So these are the Crown Thorn. Okay, that's what they are. And the Crown Thorn come on 32mm bases. So the scale for these is 32mm bases. So I don't know if that is the right size for Sisters of Battle. You'll have to let me know. But pretty good. Like, very cool in my opinion. Very cool. And then we got ourselves another Crown Thorn as well with a shield and bolt pistol option. That's the right size, Repentor 28. So these are the right size. So this looks like he's like Archvillain are going for a 1-for-1, and they're coming after the GW market. Don't hate that idea. I'm not gonna lie to everyone in the chat. I've wanted some good alternative sci-fi stuff, and that's been fairly lacking in my personal opinion. Different head options. We love that. That's cool. You could also, again, a great Necromunda warband as again, if you wanted to go down that route. The heads are very cool. Loads of different options there. I think that's really fun. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 body options. Wait, no, 9 body options. Are you kidding me? They have done really well with this release. Really, really well. Okay. All the different weapon options, chain swords, chain blades. Really great stuff. Ooh, an executioner. Now, is this meant to be a Paragon warsuit? I don't think so. What is this? Why are they called bolt guns when they don't shoot fucking crossbow bolts? A Retributor. Oh, yeah, of course, this is a Retributor. Yes, thank you. Drill head. That's a brand new shout. No one's done drill head before. We love that. This is, again, going to be a modular kit. This might be the best sci-fi kit release they've done. I'm just going to throw this out there. This might be the best sci-fi release that they've done. Heavy bolt gun. Or a grenade launcher there. These are Retributor heavy weapons. And then we've got an executioner with a shield. It looks like a melee weapon as well. Execution with flail. That looks awesome. Absolutely awesome. Like a Teutonic knight. Just weaponed up to just the high heavens. These are like, this is very good. Very, very good. Clay Beasts have more stuff on November. Oh, thank you, Rob. I'll go check it out in a second. Come on. I don't know if this is mini. This is good, though. This is overt. Too much trim for me. Would hate to paint that. I'm going to let you into a secret. This is going to blow your mind. Just don't paint the trim. Just have it all be one colour. Fuck it. I know. Some of the chat right now is like, are you what? Don't paint the trim. Just have it be one colour. Like, just let some washes or some slopping do the difference. Wait a minute. Now, if there is trim, I have to paint it, says the chat. Like, I must paint, otherwise I lose. And we've got an alternate pose on the executioner as well. And then we've got, looks like a flying, this isn't, oh, are these in Sisters of Battle? Yes, they are. We got our flying, could we do a whole Sisters of Battle army out of this? Seraphim. These look a little more derpy than the other stuff. I'm just going to throw that out there. Maybe it's the flying stand. Yeah, where are the wings? I don't know. It's weird not to have the wings. We're approaching everything we need for a fairly competitive list. You are speaking my language right now. Okay. These back pieces, it looks like there are wings, but we just haven't seen them. It looks like the wings are on the back. I'm trying to find a picture where we can see them. Doesn't look like any of the pictures you can see them, but if you look on the modular kit, the bottom left-hand corner, it looks like a wing option that's like a pad, right? The flight bases are a bit ick. Yeah, you just stick them on some, like, you just stick them on something, don't you? You don't put them on flight bases, I agree. Single small jetpack. I think that's a double jetpack. I think if we look at it in detail, bottom right-hand corner, that's like two sides of a wing. You can see it there. That would look cool, in my opinion. Let's go. 5 different mod bodies. Well, okay, so what did we get? Did we get enough out of that release to do an entire System of Battle army? We got the transports, which is cool. We got, I think, basically the battle line. I don't know if we got any characters. But we got the Seraphim. We got the war suits. I don't think we got any HQs. Although you could obviously use one of the other sculpts as a HQ. You know. Like just looking through it, I wonder if you could use one of the other sculpts as a HQ. You could release the top 5 tips for speed painting video, and each tip is just don't do this, etc. Just that's a great idea, Charlie. I'm gonna write that down. Thank you. It's a solid idea. Top 5 ways to speed up your painting. Number 1, don't paint the trim. Just don't do that. Stop doing that. Okay. Sisters HQ just look like sisters for the most part. You should release it like, okay. I'm honestly very interested in this. I'm going to speak to some 40k friends and see what a list would look like for these, because this is great. So we're about to talk about part 2 of maybe one of the greatest and cutest releases ever done as a 3D set of sculpts. This is by the Lord of the Print group. I think there's more than one sculptor, but a few months ago they took our hearts with the Tale of the Archduke Moosin, which was a bunch of mices, frogs and other little creatures on a grand old adventure. And they are some of the sweetest miniatures you're ever going to see. And there is now a part 2. And this is huge. So we've done Eldritch horror. And now we're going into just absolutely the sweetest. you know, maybe you want to 3D print something and paint something for your kid at the weekend. Oh my God, the delight of this is phenomenal. Right, let's start with the tale of the Archduke Musin. Okay, the Archduke. Now, I'm a huge Redwall stan. I don't know anyone in the chat who's a big Redwall stan, but when I was growing up, or especially when I was a young kid, my introduction to literature was through the Redwall series, which was a bunch of mice and hedgehogs and a couple of badgers that were defending a monastery called Redwall, where they would always eat like honey glazed like chestnuts and all sorts of other nonsense. It was my childhood. It was my childhood, and it kind of defined goodness for me and a bunch of other stuff as well. It was just so good. So Redwall was amazing, and it's giving me big Redwall vibes. It's kind of, if you've ever watched Watership Down, it's the wholesome version of Watership Down, right? Magic the Gathering is doing to a Redwall style set. Looks like I'm going to be broke. Okay, so this is what it's reminding me of. A noble mouse out there. And just, let's go. If you're a painter, why wouldn't, look at that. Like an owl covered in armor as well. This isn't just like an owl in an armored headpiece. I'm sure there's a movie with a bunch of owls as well. About to attack like his little mouse, and all he's got is himself to defend himself is a small wooden spear. So sweet. This is amazing. You should print these and Frog Army and do a bat rep with them. Oh my God, yes. Come on, the Spearman Mouse is just a little twig. He's trying his hardest. Okay. Lord Brocktree is in here as well. Okay, so that's sweet. And it's a scenic base as well, if you want to do the whole thing. Oh, he's got a little leaf on his back. He's got a little leaf bedroll. Oh my God, this is adorable. Okay. And then you get like just the owl on his own on the base if you want. Like, you know, it's obviously modular. For some reason, there are 97 pictures of this. Then we got a different owl, and this owl is on a different tree. So again, if you're a big fan of the owls and you want them all on these different bases, there's a different owl as well, which is very cool. And again, loads of pictures of the same mini. I don't really know why. So that is a negative. Okay. This is breaking my heart. Is that a stoat with a tiny mouse rider on his back? Oh my God. That's adorable. It's a little weasel ridden by a mouse who is using leaves as armor. Okay. Is it stout? Yeah. It's like a meerkat. A stoat is a kind of weasel. Okay, so stoat or weasel. All right. Great pose as well. So good. Dude, Redwall was actually epic. Redwall was so good. One day, some like Peter Jackson style dude will give us the Redwall movie, you know, and it is going to be a media sensation. Like, it's going to be so good. Look, his cute little nose. Yeah, he's so very sweet. Great little release. You can get the stoat on its own, obviously. They might do the stoat without the rider. Yeah, without the backpack. There you can see. Again, a nice little like thing that they add into... what is Redwall? Redwall is a series of books for kids. If you're a dad, I would read them to my kids. Like, they're just beautiful. Where's the Kickstarter? I'll pledge for that movie right now. Oh, yeah, me too. We got another stoat rider. Another mouse on a stoat. Absolutely adorable. Love that. That's great. Use that as Vanguard. Well, look at the close-ups. Yo! That's so cool. Look at the detail. The mouse has got loads of detail there. That is so sweet. This is so good. So good. Okay. Absolutely 11 out of 10 stuff. Then we got another stoat mouse combo. Both doing a little check. They're sweet. Let's move on. But we love that there's a unit of 3. Unit of 3 stoat riders. Okay. Is that a bat? Excuse me. Is that a mouse riding on a bat? That's good. That's very good. Oh, look at him! Like, look at he's like propped up on the seat. He's like arched forward as the wind is tussling through the hair. Yo, I feel a Wood Elf proxy army coming on. Right, this is so good. And then we got a couple of like, obviously we got an unmounted bat, mounted bat, etc. Then we got another version, a bat all like not in flight with the mouse rider at the base, doing a bit of like bat care, I guess is the right way to describe it. A couple of versions of that. Okay, with some close-ups of that bat. And then we have a cocooned bat, and then another little mouse helping him. Well, like he's hanging upside down, and then while he's sleeping, it looks like the little mouse. The little mouse has got a grub on a barbecue, on a spit that he's roasting because they're having a little rest. Christ, this is adorable. Look at it. He's got a little, what is that, a caterpillar that he's roasting? A little grub that he's roasting while he's chilling. Oh my God. This is so good. I knew that this was going to be a winner today. Post to the barbecue chat. Yeah, I'll do that later. Yeah, 100%. Okay, next up, it looks like we've got a caravan. Or not a caravan, a cart, a wagon. A wagon's the right term. It looks like the wagon is covered in mushrooms and is being pulled by a hedgehog while mice are inside. This is going to melt people's hearts. I would die for the hedgehog, says someone in the chat. These are all incredible, yeah. Yeah, this is a lot of whimsy. This is like a keyword bingo for ladies that I know who are just like, okay, mushrooms, check. Hedgehog, check. Cute mice, check. Having a whimsical time, triple check. Sebastian the Hedgehog. This is so good. Look at the big picture of it, though. That's stunning. That's stunning. Like, okay. The shrooms, they're so good, man. Like, I just want to print that just so it exists. Does that make sense? Not just the ladies, Rob. I'm fat and beardy and I'm all the way in. Also, I'm also, like, fat and beardy and I'm also all the way in, right? The little lantern swinging above his head. That's cute. That's very cute. It looks like a mouse and his family are feeding their little hedgehog. Okay. The leaf hats are so fucking adorable. This is outrageous. Looks like a mama and dad mouse while their little baby mouse is feeding their pet hodgehog some food. Hodgehog. Yeah. These are nice Skaven. Oh my God. I'm the parrots looking at the hedgehog. Look at the scene. Look at the scene. This is life-changing. Okay, we moved on from hedgehogs. And now we have a crab inside of a tree trunk with mice doing some fishing while on the back of it. Holy fuck. This is so good. This is so good. Like, each one, every model is a tiny story in itself. Yeah. Release of the month, possibly release of the year. It's very, very high, along with the original Archduke. Very high. The tree trunk at the top has got like a little, like a bunch of shelves where they store goods and stuff that they've collected. Grains and such, yeah. Oh wait, this is a different piece. This is a little house, a little mouse house built into a tree where they've got like all sorts of like storage and such, right? I have no idea what these models are for, but they're also incredible. Each one is a direct. Like, I wonder about this sometimes. Like, you know, that's why I love doing these shows. because when Games Workshop, because they're the biggest, you have to talk about them because they're the market leaders. When they release some miniatures, they're almost always in some sort of like military style role, even like gang stuff. This stuff just is miniature art to exist, and it's fantasy to exist for no. There are little strawberries. They've got tiny strawberries by their house that they're just collecting, right? 40 years later, I finally succumbed to Sylvanian families, says Arboreal in the chat. Yeah, it's Sylvanian families, right? Wait, the mouse is pregnant. Girlfriends around the world falling to pieces right now. Yeah, there we go.
It's just the secret of Nim.
It's the secret of Nim. Yeah, as a release. Then we've got looks like a dad mouse teaching his young son mouse how to fish. Okay, it's very sweet and adorable. And then there's a larger diorama base where they've got some like fish and such. I'm fucking dead. This is people just losing their shit. We've got a couple of mice kids arguing over a doll of another mouse. We have a mouse hero who looks like an adventurer that's got a tiny bug that is on his arm, which is just adorable and perfect. Absolutely 11 out of 10. Another one of a mouse with another bug. It looks like the bug is kind of like doing the job of pigeons, delivering scrolls, and it's a messenger. Yeah, that's what's happening. Is it a butterfly? It's a butterfly. It's a mouse with a butterfly messenger. It's the postmaster mouse. Okay, then we have a mouse who looks like he's wrangling some bugs who are doing some collecting of berries and such. There you go. And then we have a mouse archer. And mouse archer. A mouse runner, it looks like. A mouse with a shield and a little sickle. It looks like his shield is also made of an acorn or a conker shell. That's what it looks like. Imagine, Rogue Hobby says in the chat, rocking up to a tournament and someone has these as proxies and you're like, oh, so I do 8 mortal wounds on your single mouse father. Teach this young son to fish. That's 46 mortal wounds to the pregnant mouse woman in the house. Yeah. It's just constant emotional damage. That's what it is. Obviously, name each one of them as well. Here's the scene. Do 2d6 damage to the mouse father feeding berries to his 2 young mouse children. Nuked from orbit, yeah. New stat, making your army too adorable to fight. This is an incredible range.
This is the best thing I've ever seen.
It's an incredible range. And then we got it looks like the mouse from the beginning on that pose, but on his own individualized base. And then we just have a whimsical mouse who's been doing a union lad. He's done some shift work. Here you go. And we've got some bugs on top. Now they're all orphaned. I know, so sad. Then we got some fire pits. And a burnt out fire pit. A fire pit with some fish. Like a bucket of fish. That's cute. I feel like I need a break. I feel like that was one of the most intense releases ever. And arguably, I know this is I know lots of the scenes were very pretty, but probably to me, the best piece out of here, and this is going to be really tough. I feel like emotionally drained from this. This is stunning. I think my favorite, if I'm going to throw it out there, and I want to know what everyone's favorite was, it has to be the caravan. Not the bats. The bats were great. All of it was 11 out of 10. I want that to be clear. All of it was 11 out of 10. But for me, this took it. The hedgehog caravan with the mouse, just so good, right? For Persia, it was the Stoke Cav. My favourite was the Mousinger. Oh my god, instead of Messenger, the Mousinger. Oh my god, that's so funny. Glutos Proxy. Can't wait to see your army of Stoat Horns. Oh, that would be really good. This is great. This is a great release. This is really good. Our final release is Artisan Guild. They make very World of Warcraft themed and inspired miniatures. They have their own narrative and background, as well as their own game system you can play the miniatures inside of. As you can see, they've got their own world, and we have some story. Once part of the united lineage in the lush forest of Arbor, a clan of Alfar chose the path of war and exile against Tyvor's darkening rule in a forgotten age. Okay. Cloaked in ornate golden armour, armed with finely crafted weapons, driven by unmatched zeal and discipline, the noble Alfar march on a crusade, with pride and fervour against the forces of corruption. Okay. Let's go. Let's go see what they look like. So, the noble Alfar Knights. Interesting. Okay, we've got some elvish, again, World of Warcraft theme. Just delightful sculpts at this stage. Like, very solid. Very solid. In my personal opinion. Like, really good. Definitely elves. I think they're meant to be like noble bright elves. They might be dark elves, but taking on a noble slant. We've got a bunch of different weapons. We've got some big hand weapons, big drayths, different head options, different poses. They work really well on bases. 11 out of 10. Yes, maybe if they were mice, this would be better. But you can't really argue with them at this stage. And what have we got? 6 different sculpts. We've got some lady sculpts. Then we've got some heavily armoured versions as well. Lovely shields. Very classic. Nice weapons. They're not trying to like reinvent the mold. They're just trying to create like the perfect version of the mold, which I think is very fair. Everything about this is just excellently done, in my opinion. Okay? Absolutely excellent. These are really good. These are very classy. Yeah, I would not be upset with those at all. Then we've got Eloria plus the Dawnbringer, the Paladin heroine. Hello. Okay, great pose. Great pose. Almost like gnomish features. Like quite squat in some ways. But good armor, nice flowy cloaks, lots of different like material that you could paint, which is nice and clean, which I think is good. Yeah, she's got some dunk. That's definitely true. And then we have ourselves a hero, Alfar the Arcanist hero. Ooh. So it looks like he's like a monk. He's got flaming hands, and he's doing battle. That's cool. That's very fun. Very fun. Very dynamic as well. The cloak being up is very good, in my opinion. Oh, accidentally, we've got Alfar the Assassin pin-up. Yikes. Accidental boobage there. Sorry, chat. Oh, and some booty. Woo! One for the ladies. And then we got a Crystal Construct, the Epic Boss. Ooh. And again, very World of Warcrafty. Like, looks like a kind of like Tree Man crystal golem that's been invented. That's fine. That's not too bad. And then we got some cavalry. Ah! They're great. Reindeer covered in armor with some bows. These are great. These are really good. I like these a lot. I'm just going to throw that out there. I like these a lot. Very good. Okay. Oh, and then we got some mounted, more heavily armored versions as well that are mounted. These are great. The stags are particularly good in my opinion. Dynamic, interesting, not too blocky, solid, not too large. Very nice. Okay. And then you got the unmounted versions, like unarmored. That's nice. Just a nice little additional thing. And then some terrain, which, I mean, who cares about the terrain? But there you go. With our pin-up lady on top of it. Okay. That rounds us off. Loads of different weapon options, hand options. It's a fun release. You can't necessarily build a whole army out of it, but you could build like a significant bit of an army out of it, which I think is fun. Especially if they had like a lot of archer options, I think that would be cool. But yeah, fun. Very, very fun. Very fun. To round us off, we're going to look at a Kickstarter by Tristan. Oh, actually, there's one more I'd like to look at this month. So we've got two more. We're going to look at this Kickstarter. This is Pharaoh's Legacy. I don't back any Kickstarters. Oh, no, I've backed one before, which was for Terrain by Forgotten Miniatures, which was really fun. I really like that. And we've got... I was about to ask. Yeah, I've done one before. So this is a bunch of Tomb Kings. These are fun. And they're very modular. Look like we've got some legs, some bodies, some heads. Not bad. They're quite squat. Like, they're not, like, elongated. You've got a load of different weapon options as well. A little load of hand options. I've never got anything from these designers, so I don't know if they're pre-supported. I don't know if they've done well. But there is a Kickstarter that is available. The last one we're going to look at is by Warp Miniatures. This is I haven't as of yet subscribed to their Patreon, but I'm going to subscribe to their Patreon today specifically because of this release. Now, there's only one image I've got to look at the minute, so we're not going to go through loads, but get ready, ladies and gentlemen. It is a bunch of Smurf-like gnomes on frogs with mushrooms. Okay? Absolutely adorable. Yeah? Gnome minis. Like 11 out of 10. Okay? Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm going to subscribe to this today. Yeah, we got some gnome mussy up in here. Exactly. Look at can we take a moment to look at the banners? The banners are pantaloons. Okay? They're pantaloons. Are you kidding me right now? They're like they're t-shirts or they're jumpers and pantaloons and a sweater. Okay? There's a gnome mage. They're all great. Gnome frogs, gnome cavalry. It's a good catch. Yeah. This is going on my on my list today to get. Right. You've been gnomed. Right. A new Caesar Sigmar army. So adorable. So adorable. Okay, so that's everything we've looked at. That's all the 3D sculpts from this month, or at least the ones that I've seen so far that I'm going to look at. Hope you enjoyed looking through them with me. Let me know what your favourites are, and if there are some designers that you do like, leave them in the comments below.